Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. 90-Day Fiancé. Out of 90 weddings, these 5 wedding day twists were pure chaos, and I loved it. Over the course of the last decade, 90-Day Fiancé has showcased more than 90 weddings, with some of those special wedding day moments forever etched in my memory. Recently, Sarper Govan and Shekinah Garner reached a major milestone by exchanging views, marking the 90th wedding to be featured on the show. Due to their disagreements over a prenuptial agreement, I was convinced they would split up, but to my surprise, they defied the odds and tied the knot. Fast forward to June 2025, Sarper and Shekinah are happily married, with a bright future ahead of them. Just as Sarper and Shekinah have a strong relationship, I have also seen 90-Day Fiancé feature other successful marriages that have lasted. One example is David Toborowski and Annie Suwan, who got married in November 2017 and are still going strong. They recently had their first child, Minthira, and have managed to make things work despite their massive age gap. Jenny Slatten and Sumit Singh also surprised many 90-Day Fiancé viewers, including me, by getting married despite facing many challenges. They were able to overcome a 30-year age difference and major cultural differences to make their relationship work. I've watched 90 weddings featured on 90-Day Fiancé, and a few wedding day moments still stand out to me. One of those moments was Armando Rubio and Kenny Niedermeyer's wedding, which had the sweetest plot twist. Despite facing numerous hurdles and delays on their journey, their strong compatibility made me certain that they would eventually get married. I also assumed that most of Armando's family members would be present at the wedding, except for his emotionally distant father. However, to everyone's surprise, Armando's father showed up dressed for the occasion, proving that he truly cared for his son. They didn't get married in 90-Day Fiancé Season 7, so I was curious to see if they would have a different outcome in Season 8. It seemed at one point that they might successfully overcome their problems and get married. However, the unexpected turn of events happened when Mike canceled the wedding just hours before the ceremony. Natalie was on the verge of leaving the U.S. when she reconciled with him, ultimately marrying him in the season finale. I thoroughly enjoyed watching Angela and Michael's journey during the early seasons. Their entertaining arguments never failed to bring a chuckle, making me eagerly anticipate their wedding day. Angela's boisterous personality perfectly complemented Michael's more laid-back demeanor, with her dominant role in the relationship always standing out and providing endless laughs for viewers like me. One moment that particularly stood out is when Angela humorously questioned the idea of obeying her husband during her wedding vows, leaving the pastor and the audience in stitches. When the pastor asked Angela to repeat the lines to love, honor, and obey, she nonchalantly responded, "Obey what? Obey who?" This moment remains one of the most memorable and amusing in the 90-Day Fiancé franchise's history. While I have seen many fictional shows featuring runaway brides, Anneli Valijosa's wedding in 90-Day Fiancé was probably the first time I witnessed someone almost doing it in real life. Numerous issues, including the language barrier and cultural differences, marred Anneli's relationship with Clayton Clark. Despite that, Anneli agreed to marry Clayton, hoping things would improve. To my surprise, just before the wedding, Anneli experienced a last-minute existential crisis. She disappeared hours before the ceremony, questioning if marrying Clayton was the right decision, especially since she was feeling homesick and her father didn't approve of the marriage. The 90th wedding on 90-Day Fiancé was full of drama. Shekinah and Sarper decided to get married after overcoming issues, including Sarper's controversial past with over 2,500 women. It was heartwarming to see them fulfill their dream of turning their romance into a serious commitment. However, they shocked not only me, but also other viewers when they decided to have a bedding instead of a traditional wedding. Unfortunately, Shekinah's perfect vision for their bedding ceremony was shattered when the hotel room she had booked fell short of expectations. She said, "I just don't like it." Thankfully, the decorations and floral arrangements brought Shekinah's dream to life, and she joyfully exchanged vows with Sarper. In 90-day fiancé minus 90-day fiancé weddings are rarely picture-perfect. Between green card deadlines, meddling in-laws, trust issues, and cultural clashes, it's a miracle any couples make it down the aisle. But out of the 90-plus weddings the franchise has given us, 5 stand out as chaotic masterpieces, complete with runaway grooms, dramatic walkouts, and vows that left jaws on the floor. Buckle up, because these weddings were more popcorn-worthy than a finale cliffhanger. 1. Mohammed and Danielle. The infamous I do, I don't. If there were ever a wedding that screamed train wreck, it was Danielle and Mohammed's. From the moment Mohammed landed in Ohio, viewers could sense he wasn't in it for love. He cringed when Danielle touched him. He rolled his eyes during romantic gestures. And yet, somehow, their wedding day still happened. But it was pure chaos from start to finish. Danielle sobbed while getting ready. Her bridesmaids gave off serious hostage vibe energy, and Mohammed looked like he was being dragged to his execution. When the officiant asked if he took Danielle to be his wife, he muttered yes, like it physically hurt. The guests were stunned. The tension was thicker than the Ohio humidity, and Danielle's teary "he loves me" convinced no one. Bonus twist. Less than 2 months later, Mohammed was already in Miami, allegedly with another woman. But that wedding day, awkward smiles, tense silence, and forced kisses was unforgettable. 2. Anfisa and George. Glitz, gowns, and one giant lie. No one embodied reality TV chaos like Anfisa and Georgia. She was Russian, blunt, and had no time for poor men. He was not quite as wealthy as he claimed. Their relationship was a mess of fights, designer handbags, and broken phones, but against all odds, they still made it to the altar. Their courthouse wedding was small, but the real twist came not from the ceremony, it came right after. Moments after saying, "I do," George confessed on camera that he still hadn't told Anfisa about his marijuana business and the legal troubles that could come crashing down on them both. Anfisa, blissfully unaware in her ivory dress, posed for photos while George nervously looked over his shoulder. The chaos wasn't loud or explosive. It was the eerie quiet before the storm. And fans knew it was only a matter of time before their short-lived marriage imploded under the weight of all those secrets. Still, watching them say vows while sitting on a mountain of lies was a slow-motion car crash we couldn't look away from. 3. Angela and Michael. Cake, cigarettes, and cultural collisions. Angela and Michael's wedding was in Nigeria. And if you thought being thousands of miles from Georgia would calm Angela down, think again. First, Angela's dress was peak Southern sass meets Vegas glam, with rhinestones, cleavage, and all. Then came the wedding march, which was less romantic stroll and more Angela strutting down the aisle like she was about to fight someone. But the real chaos came post-ceremony. After exchanging vows and throwing rice, Angela lit a cigarette in her wedding dress while ranting about Michael's family. Moments later, she confronted his mother about fertility and menopause, yes, on her wedding day. The mixture of cultural misunderstandings, Angela's unpredictable temper, and Michael's constant need to play peacemaker created a spectacular mess. Fans didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or hide under a pillow. But one thing was certain, this wasn't your grandma's wedding. 4. Natalie and Mike. The wedding that wasn't, until it was. Mike and Natalie's wedding had a 24-hour countdown and all the suspense of a reality TV thriller. After breaking up just days before, Natalie was ready to return to Ukraine. She had packed her bags, booked her ticket, and was crying in the driveway. Then bam, Mike changed his mind. With just hours to go before her visa had expired, Mike asked her to marry him after all. What followed was pure chaos. A rush call to find an officiant, a last-minute bouquet made from backyard flowers, and a barefoot ceremony on a mossy path outside their Washington home. Natalie, in a puffy pink dress, cried throughout the ceremony. Mike looked dazed, possibly wondering if he just made the biggest mistake of his life. There were no guests, no cake, and no time to even shower. It was romantic in a held hostage by the clock kind of way.